I came back home that evening from my classes. It was any other day. I stood there beside my bed, scrolling through my socials. I opened Instagram to see chatter. Chatter about rape threats. I was just as confused as you are right now. I was heading straight for my friend's group chat to ask if they knew more than I did. That's when I saw the text. The text from the confessions page. Unofficially and anonymously made by students of my school. It was a long message. And somewhere in between, it said, Aarini, listen. I don't want to hurt your feelings by saying this, but something this disgusting was about you. The rape threat was about me. It really was. I froze, unable to think for a minute, maybe more. I felt a shot of pain through my head, clenching my chest, my heart pounding. The threat was in front of me. With unfocused eye and mind, I read it again. Still not able to process. Over and over until I realized that behind that scribble with black ink was my name, Aarini. I will rape Aarini, it said. My legs grew weaker. I gave in, down to my knees. Tears poured. Who could this be? Just who could this be? Did I know them? But how could it be anybody I knew? Did I speak to them? Did I share my dabba with them? Were they out there watching my every move? Am I safe? Were they really out to kill me, rape me? This is the incident that took place a couple of weeks ago. I dealt with a plethora of emotions and feelings that was so hard to understand and even harder to put into words. I remember constantly lamenting on what if something actually happened to me. What then? I felt fear. I didn't know what to do. Should I go to my friends, parents, authorities, teachers? I simply couldn't process the situation. I was helpless. The next day, I had to attend school, already apprehensive of the idea because I didn't feel safe on the premises that was supposed to feel like home. Many people, peers, and people I smiled at across the corridor started approaching me. Approaching me out of pity. Pity for what had happened the previous night. Constant hugs, hoping it would make me feel better. But it didn't. I really didn't like it. I dreaded it when people started to come to me and ask me if I was well and okay. I started to loathe pity. I used to go back home and cry in the evenings. I was overwhelmed by the amount of people trying to console me or help me. I did nothing but sleep or cry, leaving me no time to do the work that was already piling up. Homework, tuition work, leading to stress. So many things were happening all at once, it was driving me crazy. I was dealing with constant thoughts of what they would think of me, what you would think of me, what my teachers, friends, parents, family would think of me, strangers even. Leading to the negative emotion of self-depreciation. And even worse, I started wondering whether I was in the wrong. All of this happening all at once led to the deterioration of my physical health as well. I was sleep deprived, exhausted. I realized my mental and physical health was spiraling out of hand. I had to do something about it. I had to make a choice. I weighed my options. I had 3 choices. The first one was to keep it to myself. Keep it to myself in hope that it would eventually get over. It would eventually just blow over. But so many people already knew about it that it would come to the adults at some point anyway. Apart from that, it did not satisfy the gravity of the situation. It would be unfair to those who really did care about my safety, health, and well-being. So, I struck out this option. My second option was to seek help from my friends. This one sounded like the easiest thing to do. I already seemed to approach them for so many things, like homework, schoolwork, minor problems I faced here and there. They would provide me with comfort and consolation. Some may even give me advice. But then I realized that was all they could do. They were the same age as me, with similar experience levels. It wouldn't help the already bad situation. So I eliminated this option as well, leaving me with one final option: to reach out to someone older than me, with more experience than me, legally and otherwise. Normally, I'd end up saying something like, they won't understand. And maybe they wouldn't. But this time, I was pleasantly surprised. The adult I trusted most, from a very young age, has always been my mom. So, I decided to tell her everything. When I was going to tell her, I shared everything. Screenshots, story, posts, all that I knew. She was nothing but attentive and understanding. Sometimes we all build demons in our head about how our parents or elders will react. But bottom line is, they will always mean well for us. My mom took certain steps to help resolve the situation. First one, evaluated ways of tracing down the detailed post and the people or person involved. Second, talk to the cyber police and cybercrime regarding ways of going forward with the situation. And lastly, talk to my school leaders about ways of moving forward. I watched as she and the authorities really took over. They made the right decisions and right choices at every turn. I was never alone, but I simply failed to realize it. My mom was always with me. The school was always with me. I simply failed to reach out. Turning to someone I love gave me the confidence that I had lost. More than ever, I realized the value of having an adult friend. Someone I can have an open channel of communication with. While I love my friends and constantly count on them for support, their worldview is like mine. And they may not be best placed to give me advice in critical situations. Our parents and adults also went through teenage, regardless of how hard it is to believe. We're so used to the older version of them saying, "Maine bola tha," or "I told you so." But their worldview is larger than ours. And in times of difficulty, you need exactly that. I had many realizations. But that didn't stop me from constantly breaking down into my pillow, crying. I used to wake up to dry, red eyes every morning. It hurt. But when I stood up to this, I told myself 3 things. Number 1, don't give it any meaning. This meant not letting any negative emotions create an array of pessimistic thoughts that would constantly bug me and bother me. Number 2, what has been said says nothing about you, but the person who has written it. This reminded me of a quote from Princess Diaries. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. This is exactly what it meant. I wasn't going to let this pull me down. The last one, delete it from your head. I had to completely shun it from my mind. That meant no replaying the gruesome threat in my head over and over. I made a few power moves, helped myself get back up. Number 1, completely got rid of maybe it was my mistake, when I knew for a fact that it was not. I deserved a big bucket of vanilla ice cream because I was going to get through it